All right, so there have been a few plays today, nothing really great, but a few plays that are on the right track with what I teach in my DVDs and video lessons and would have made me and several of my top challenge students millions of dollars. So let me talk about MVIS. This one has been uptrending. This is a daily chart over 100 days, and it's been uptrending, and today's been the big breakout day. Um, and it's easy for me to say, oh, in hindsight, yeah, it was a nice morning runner from 290 to 340, but this was a contract winner. They came out with a press release pre-market saying, look, we have $14 million in orders. And it's probably the same customer that they've always been harping on, but $14 million is the biggest contract that they have announced um, in a while, if not ever. I don't know the exact stats, but I've never seen a contract this big. So this stock has run, and I am so proud of so many students who banked. Let me just talk about this real quick. Actually, let me talk about also there's a short, AMRN, which was my number one potential short in the watch list because it's a crap biotech that's been up for several days. And this is what's known as a gapping crap, where it's uptrending all Friday. Shorts are getting squeezed. And today, it has a very, very nice gap up and pretty much a morning crash. This is kind of the inverse of MVIS. MVIS went from 290-ish to 340. This went from 330-ish down to 290. It happens every now and then. Let's see if you guys can name the two stocks that did this inverse the other day. It was an earnings winner and a stock that had been exposed, and they both went inverse. One went from 9 to 960 in the morning, and the other one went from 960 down to 9. It's funny how this works, usually all within like the same time too. Let's see, AMRN hit 290-ish right at 10:40 a.m. MVIS 10:40 a.m. Well, 3:42. It was within a penny of its high at 10:40 a.m. So you had an hour and 10 minutes on each of them. One you go long, one you go short, and you do pretty well. I missed the open, okay? I have a crazy, crazy schedule, and that is why I am so proud that unlike other newsletters and chat rooms, even when I don't trade or issue any alerts, my subscribers are banking. That is the beautiful thing. That is why I have DVDs and video lessons and webinars, so many more than anybody else, because I want you studying and being prepared ahead of time. My real-time alerts are not meant to be followed. Unlike other chat rooms and newsletters, I don't want you to follow my alerts. I want you to be prepared. My alerts are real-time reminders of these patterns. And even though I missed the market open and I missed both of them, that doesn't mean that you cannot trade them. I miss trades left and right. Despite the millions of dollars that I make, I miss a lot of trades. So I am so proud when I got in right at 10:43 a.m. Eastern. I said this, I've now missed 40 cents a share on AMRN short and MVIS long, but I won't chase since if I traded here, it would be revenge trading. And that is the title of this video lesson. If you miss a trade or trades, you don't want to just be like, oh, I missed it. I got to get in right now. It's kind of funny. I got in at 10:43. That was the exact bottom of AMRN and pretty much the exact top of MVIS. So had I chased and been like, oh, I missed this, let me get in now, on either of them, I would have been wrong. But this is beautiful. Hamza said he made 700 on MVIS. This is my first trade with you, Tim. Thank you. And that was awesome. This is even a better comment from Woj. AMRN, he bought it, and excuse the typos, this is just copy and pasted from chat. People are, there's typos all over the place, but he meant AMRN. He bought at 289, sold into the spike at 321. So he made 30 cents a share, 10% over the weekend. Best trade to date with a plan and meeting my 25-cent goal. Go into a trade with a goal. That's awesome. And then he wanted to short AMRN, which would have worked out, but not enough funds available, but the plan was there. This is after many losses. I tossed all the noise aside. Twitter, chat, emails, and follow the process you teach alone was a great aha moment. Then this morning, as I'm looking over the MVIS chart for a possible buy, you post the same idea. Nice confirmation. That's it, guys. Okay? Shorting crappy companies, usually pump and dumps. AMRN is a little bit more speculative, so even if I had traded, I probably would have screwed up playing it too conservatively and probably would have made like 10 or 15 cents a share. MVIS was a clear contract win. Okay, so and it's already been uptrending. So it's when you have a contract win on a stock like MVIS, you pretty much know it's going to be good because it's been uptrending. People have been anticipating good news, and you get this, and so then it kind of just blows the top off the lid. As opposed to a stock that wins a contract and it's been downtrending for I don't know how long, and anybody who is long the stock is just excited to get out because they're selling into the spike. So I really want to clarify this, and I'll talk about this more in my new Spikeability DVD, which is just a few days away from finally being done, where I like buying earnings winners with uptrending stock charts. So that was fantastic that Woj understands that on his own. This is all about doing this on your own. And David G says, revenge buying, you have mentioned that term before. Correct. I don't want to chase stocks. And this is what he says, sometimes it takes hearing it more than once to sink in. I do that a lot. Thanks for this term. And that's 100% true. A lot of people say, Tim, I don't know, should I start trading now? I'm not sure if I really understand all this, if I really get it. What should I do? It's all about repetition, okay? I'm not trading that many patterns. Some people would say what I do is very simple, too simple, but it works. And, seeing this again and again, MVIS, it's a contract winner. Buy it at the open or near the open when there's a huge volume spike, or maybe not even at the open because that might be scary because you don't know if it's just going to crash, but buy it when it makes a new day high right here at 3:05 at 9:37 a.m. Or buy it on the dip here, or even buy it here when it makes a new day high here at 3:13, and you can sell it at 3:33, 3:43, and make 20-30 cents a share. It's all about buying stocks with momentum as they break to new highs with volume and ideally a catalyst. And AMRN, yeah, maybe it's scary to short it right at the open. So short it when it takes out the day high here at 313. Same exact pivot price, kind of funny, 313. This is why I really don't have conspiracy theories, but it's just strange to me that both of these two stocks are in play. They have the exact same, 30, 40 cents that you can make, 30, 35 cents, and they both have the same pivot point. So this is a key pivot point. You want to look to short stocks when they take out new day lows. And right here at 9:43 a.m. AMRN, if you're watching this, there is no way that you should not be shorting it right here. And this, again, this is only like a 20 cent a share. This isn't, I don't feel that bad about missing this because neither of them are that great. But if you want to look at, specific setups, you short junky companies as they take out the day low and ideally multi-day lows. And you buy companies that have good news and are breaking out. That's it. That's the whole gist. And obviously, there's more subtleties, so it's not like, oh, okay, let me just do this and ignore all your other video lessons and webinars. No, there are subtleties in knowing about different types of news and in different volumes and different stocks and different times of the day. But for the most part, you want to buy stocks that are breaking out to new highs with a good catalyst, with good volume, and short sell junky companies that are breaking intraday and ideally multi-day support, and they're, ideally have been pumped or manipulated or hyped in some chat rooms. This was a great trade from Spencer. Bought MVIS at $2.99, out at $3.42. I've run out of patience. Well, you had a lot of patience, man. That's fantastic. That's a nearly 15% gain in less than 2 hours. You really have to think about what do most people do in the trading world. 90% of traders lose, but even if you're a successful investor, you're making 15% over the year, and that's near best case scenario. This guy's making 15% in less than 2 hours, and that's why people hate penny stocks. There's so much misinformation about them, but there's so much potential if you have the right patterns. And Mr. Business bought at $2.96, out at $3.39, the same 15%. Again, this is without my alerts. I wasn't even in the chat room. I wasn't even online. I totally missed it. But I love that more students are becoming self-sufficient. These patterns are not crazy to learn. This isn't rocket science. I'm not that great at math. Part of the reason why I got into this is because even though I've made millions of trading, and I made this before I got started teaching, is that I see all of the missed opportunities. I see that sometimes, I'm not going to sit in front of a computer 9 to 5 like some traders. I have a life. I have a rather crazy, extraordinary life. And I want you to be able to trade on your own. That is the whole goal of what I teach. Never, ever, ever follow my alerts. Use my alerts as real-time reminders of these patterns. And if I don't even give an alert, or if I'm not there, then try to look for these same kinds of patterns, these same kinds of setups, even if they're not great, even if you don't want to buy, 1,000 shares, even if you just want to buy 100 shares, even if you just want to write it on an index card and say, okay, this is a contract winner and it's making a new day high at 9:43 a.m. Let me buy this on my index card. I'll pretend that I bought 10,000 shares and I'll see what it does over the next hour or two. And you would make 10-15% here. So that's the lesson for today. I am filming this midday. I don't see anything great right now, so I missed my opportunity for these trades, but I will not revenge trade. I don't want to force great trades. You had two pretty solid trades this morning, and now, it's just waiting for these kinds of setups again, because waiting for good setups again and again and again and executing them and cutting losses when you're wrong, that is how, you make more money than you lose and you beat the rest of the trading industry. Ideally, getting rich if you're dedicated enough, like my first and second millionaire student and several other millionaire students who don't want me to talk about them publicly. Thank you. I will see you guys in the chat room.